Hey guys, what's going on? It's Colin here again. Today I'm back with another fan video. This is my 16-inch Panasonic 5-way oscillator, which I think is probably from the late 70s or early 80s. I'll show the model number in a second, but first I want to give the backstory. So this is a major childhood fan for me, or at least the 12-inch version was. When I was younger, my grandma had a 12-inch version that she used pretty much as a daily driver in her room, and I loved the thing. I always used to come over and play with it and clean it and stuff. I was really little, by the way. I was probably no older than 3 or 4, but anyways, I liked it a lot, and they used to use the crap out of it until one day I came over to play with it and I plugged it in and it stopped working. So my grandma being the way she is, that was the end of that fan. That went straight into the garbage. No thoughts about it. So not that I knew anything about it, about fixing them at the time, but I was kind of bummed. But it took me forever to figure out what that fan was. For the longest time, you know, I'd kind of been looking for it, but I had no idea what it was. I couldn't find it whatsoever. The only thing I remembered were the blue blades, the push buttons, where they were, and it had a weird oscillator. That's all I knew, because it went all the way to one side. Originally, for a while, I kind of thought it was maybe one of the early Galaxies, or maybe one of the other fan brands like Tatung or something. But eventually I saw a video on a Panasonic 5-way oscillator like this, and I knew that was the one, based on the back of the motor cover and the way that it oscillated and where the buttons were and everything. So from then on, I knew I was looking for one. Then one time I walked into the thrift store, and this was the first thing I saw, was this sitting right on the floor. So I immediately grabbed it, because I knew what it was. This happens to be the 16-inch version, where I don't think the 12-inch versions are all that common, but I'm pretty sure the 16-inch versions are even less common. But man, this is one heck of a fan, I'll tell you that. This thing is awesome. I use this pretty much all the time in my room. But anyways, let's take a closer look. So this video might kind of be a bit all over the place, because I'm not entirely sure what I want to talk about first, but I guess we'll start with this. Look at that blade pitch. Holy crap. It's quite a blade pitch. You can see there's your 5-way oscillator. I guess it's all the way to that side. Like I mentioned earlier, I remember the look of this back motor cover. It's kind of a very distinct look to it, not quite like the Galaxies. The other thing is this tilt. It's kind of interesting. It's like two different sounds, but I usually leave it in the middle. There's your oscillator knob. That was broken on my grandma's. It always was. The other interesting thing is, not that I'm going to pull this cover off now, but inside this cover, not only is the motor massive, like absolutely massive, like here's my hand on this cover, the motor fills this cover like pretty much entirely, all the way up to probably about here. It's got to be at least that big. It's ridiculous. And as if that isn't enough, there's a huge counterweight back here. It's just a big hunk of metal, because I guess the grill and everything on the front is so heavy. But it's just kind of interesting. I've never seen that before, a fan with a counterweight. Because you take all this stuff off, and this just goes and stays that way. But yeah, I guess they knew what they were doing, because that counterweight in there is pretty big. But so is the motor. When I first got it, it ran, but it was really slow. So I pulled it apart and serviced it, which wasn't the easiest thing to do. These aren't super duper serviceable fans, but I managed to get some oil in it. I haven't done it for a while, so I might do it again at some point. But like I said, I use this fan like all the time. You can see about how much dust is built up there. I am slowly, over this extra quarantine time now, especially seeing as though it's summertime now, school's over, I've been slowly going through all my fans and like restoring them, if you will. Like my Edison here, on the cabinet here, this thing is like mint now. I'm starting to do that now, where I'm going over my fans and kind of with a more fine-tooth comb. I think the Sears is up next. This was my daily for a while before I decided I wanted the Emerson back again, but yeah, I think this one's going to be up next after the Sears, because you can see, like, when I first got it, I cleaned it up so it wasn't disgusting, but I didn't care so much about scuffs like that and stuff like that, where now that I have the time, I might as well go through, resurface this thing, and clean it all up. So that's a video for the future at some point. That'll probably be pretty far down the line, because I got to get to the Sears there first. But, yeah, anyways, just kind of, rambling kind of video, I guess. Original cord, it's very thin, but I guess, you know, again, they knew what they were doing with the motor, so I guess I trust it. See if I can get a decent shot. This is a metal plate on the bottom too. Here's a shot of the information tag. Sorry if it's a little shaky. It's a model F-1607. I'm guessing the 16 is because it's a 16 inch. It even says blade diameter 16 inch there, so that's kind of interesting. If you want to read that, you can pause the video. But yeah, so it's a very powerful fan. I think the capacitor in this might be a tad weak, or maybe going, because it doesn't seem like it spins super fast. Like I think it might spin a little faster, maybe, or at least on low. But I'm gonna go ahead and point it this way. This fan, well, this is kind of what I'm saying with the capacitor. It gets up to speed, but it takes its time. Like if you start it on low, it takes like a minute or two to fully get up to speed. But what I like to do is I like to start it straight off on high here and then go back down to low, so it kind of gets its speed up, because this is a heavy blade. But here we go, start up on high. See if, I don't know if it has a startup sound, honestly. Here we go. I'm going to start it up on high. So I guess it has something of a startup sound. But the fan itself definitely has a very distinct sound to it. It's got a very distinct, like, whirring sound. I'm going to pull this away from the wall a little bit. But it just throws the air like crazy. So it's at full speed now. I'm going to go ahead and do the camera wind noise airflow test. This one is kind of like the Emerson here, where not only does it throw a crap ton of air, but there's a lot of pressure behind that air. Like, it hits you hard. And I kind of like that, but I'm across the room now and I feel a strong breeze. Go down to medium. Got these nice big piano key clicky buttons that I love. I also really like the blue. It's got to be one of my favorite transparent blade colors. It's the blue. It's got a very nice speed, like difference in speeds too. It's got a nice slow low. And a nice medium too, but this is the one I use it on the most, is low. It's a very nice, I would say gentle breeze, but it's still kind of strong. I guess you could call it gentle for this fan. But it's a very nice breeze. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn the oscillator on, or as Jordan says, engage the oscillations. Show off that 5-way oscillator. I have no idea which one it's on yet, or right now, I mean. This quarantine is really affecting my ability to speak. I'm finding way more bloopers than there ever were in the past. So that is something I definitely remember. If we put this all the way over, my grandma's fan would do that, when no other fan ever did, and I was always very confused. And then there was one time where it actually changed and it was normal, because I guess I bumped it like that. And I was super confused by that as a kid. Not gonna lie, but in application, like in actuality, it's actually pretty useful. Especially in something like this room, where I click that there and I shove it in the corner, and it's perfect for this room. It does a perfect from that wall to this wall. I like that a lot. I've got the pedestal version too, or a later pedestal version that has it, and it is pretty useful, I'll say that, but I was always confused by it as a kid. The other thing is, it's got a proper metal handle. There's not a ton of... I've never seen a fan that's had a handle where you could actually really get your fingers, like, underneath it, except for something like this. Like, that's a real handle, but as far as these go, it's really not a bad handle. You can't get your hands all the way under, but if you just lift it like that, it's good. But it's a nice, thick metal handle that actually clips in down there. But I'm going to go ahead and fire it up back to high here, and we'll do a spin down test. Takes its time to get up to speed, but now I think we're at top speed. It's got a heavy metal, not metal, heavy plastic blade on it, so should have a pretty decent spin down. But then again, I haven't oiled it in a while. But there you go. So yeah, this is probably, well, I wouldn't say, I'm really bad at choosing favorites. I like all my fans, but I like this one a lot. So there you go. It's the Panasonic 5-way oscillator, even though if I showed this earlier. Overall, it's pretty good shape. It could use like a going over with a more fine-tooth comb, which I probably will do at some point. But anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Feel free to leave a comment if you have one. I do appreciate it. And if you like what you see, hit the little like and subscribe buttons and let me know. We're at, I think, around 85 subscribers right now. Hopefully get to 100 at some point soon. I've been told getting to 100 is the hardest bit, so well, we're almost there, so hopefully we can keep chugging along and get there soon. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.